Alright, hello everyone. Hello, and welcome. How's everyone doing? Welcome to a very special event. DSP here. And, yeah, this is going to be a really cool day in my opinion. Or at least I hope it turns out as cool as the premise of the idea sounds, right? Welcome everyone, as people are slowly joining the stream and saying, what the hell, why is Phil streaming so early? Undoubtedly later people will be saying, what the hell, why is Phil streaming so long? For those that don't pay attention to what's going on. Today is the Indies Mini Marathon, ladies and gentlemen. Indies Mini Marathon. So let me explain and give you guys a little bit of a preface of what to expect today and why this is happening, okay? So in the month of February, I launched my Patreon account. And I had to set up some pretty unique, interesting goal levels that I thought people would be interested in hitting for some special events and things that I would do as a direct result of receiving, a certain level of pledges for that month. And, in my quest to find unique things that I could do, I was thinking, what are things that typically I wouldn't do? What are things that typically would be outside of my comfort zone that you wouldn't expect DSP to be doing, right? And so I went through, many a list. One of them, of course, was Minecraft, which I've been playing all month. But in particular, one thing that I've never done until right now, ladies and gentlemen, is a marathon. And what I mean by that is a stream that just kind of constantly continues going and going for an extended period of time. Typically, ever since I started streaming back in early 2013, I have a schedule, like a tight schedule that I adhere to, you know what I mean? Well, I'll have like a first stream that lasts about 3 to 4 hours, then I have another stream that lasts about 2 hours, and all that footage being recorded and uploaded to YouTube. But usually I never do anything of kind of like a continuous style of gaming. Okay? And then number two, one thing that typically I don't usually check out, and in particular on the PC for sure, are indie games. You've heard of all these indie games that have come out over the past, I'd say, up to 5 years, right? And, during that time period when I've been actively covering gaming, it's been few and far between where I took some time out and said, I'm going to check out this indie game that everyone seems to be talking about. In fact, most of the time, I'll be honest, I end up purposely kind of skipping those games and focusing more on mainstream console releases. And so I said this would be a great opportunity for me to not only do some kind of a marathon of gaming that I almost never do or have never done before, but also to experience a bunch of games that I basically skipped over. A bunch of games that, I did not take the time out to experience when they were new, when everyone was playing them. And this is good. This is a great opportunity. The way that I'm approaching today is I'm coming in with an open mind and an attitude of, let's experience all these games. I bought 6 games to play today, and over the course of the next 7.5 hours or so, we're going to be playing all of those 6 games, hopefully. We'll see. And the attitude that I'm taking with this event is that let's play them, let's give them a fair shot, let's see if I enjoy them, right? And if I do, well, maybe that'll be a game then that I want to continue in an ongoing playthrough in the future. Or maybe if people really like this event, let's say that this ends up being really successful, and people are enjoying it, like, wow, I wish that Phil would do more of those more often. Maybe we'll have this be an ongoing goal for Patreon, where if I hit that certain level, I could take a day out every month to do a kind of marathon-style thing here. And by the way, just so everyone knows, there were many other suggestions as well. It wasn't just, play these particular 6 indie games. There were many more that were suggested. I just kind of took the ones that got the most votes on my forums, thekingofhate.com. And I factored in both the nominations of people who were paying patrons and people who weren't patrons, because that's the fair way to do it. And I put it up in a poll, and the 6 games that we'll be checking out today, if time permits, Because the way that I'm approaching this is, let's say I start playing a game and I'm liking it, and people watching like it too, then I'm going to keep playing it until they tell me, okay, that's enough for this game, can we move on to another one? So I am going to be checking the stream chat frequently for, to see, gee, are people having fun? What's the reaction, or are people really getting tired of this particular game and they want me to move on? All right. The stream is going to have limited commercial interruption. Well, actually, I'll tell you right now, the stream will have almost no commercial interruption. Probably the only thing I'm ever going to talk about as a commercial on stream is going to be my Patreon, which I've already mentioned, right? Outside of that, there will not be any commercials running. Because I don't have to run commercials, because I'm not on Twitch TV. Here on YouTube, your view of the stream counts as a view of a video, and I get, I already am making some money off of that. So I don't have to worry about, oh, let's interrupt everything to do a paid product placement, or let's take a 10-minute break for me to run these ads. Now, that's not to say there's not going to be breaks. There will undoubtedly be a few minute breaks here or there when I need to use the restroom, when we're switching up games in particular. As we're switching over games, keep in mind I have to set the capture software to implement a new game every time I do that. So I hope that you guys will be patient in that regard. I'm sure some of these games are going to have some funky things to them. Either they're not going to be capturing right away, or the audio levels will be off, and we'll have to do a little bit of adjustment before we get into each game. But I hope you'll be understanding of that. But yeah, there will be no actual split in the stream, meaning I'm not going to go on dinner break. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not going to have any kind of extended break at all. If anything, I'll run downstairs and grab a snack like jerky or something, a quick drink swap out during a quick 5 to 10 minute break here or there. But for the most part, it's going to be pretty solid gameplay of these indie games today. So I hope that you guys will enjoy that. I hope that you're looking forward to it. I am. Now, let's talk a little bit. What games will I be playing? Well, I kind of revealed this on Twitter last night, but basically there were 6 games that overall got the majority of the voting that we'll be checking out during the course of today's ongoing mini marathon. Okay? Hotline Miami 1, Super Meat Boy, To the Moon, Fez, The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, and Braid. And that's in no particular order. In fact, I would almost guarantee you the games will not be in that order. I'm probably going to be doing pretty random order. And, we shall see how it goes. Ultimately what I'm hoping today, at the very least, I'm hoping I get an exposure to a bunch of games that I pretty much ignored over the past few years while I was doing this, as a job, because I was so into the mainstream. I was so into what's the next big release that everyone wants to see. And that's the cool thing about this, is because the patrons funded it, we could take a day away from me playing the mainstream games, not have to worry about that for a day, and actually focus in on this event. It's refreshing, it's different, it's fun, and I'm very appreciative that you guys who are paying patrons did that. That is awesome. I am very, very appreciative. Here's hoping that, moving forward every month we can have some pretty fun and unique things that we do because of a result of Patreon. Right? Now, in particular, let's talk a little bit about that, because I've got some great news in regards to that. Ladies and gentlemen, as of right now, there's less than 12 hours left for you to pledge to my March 2015 Patreon. Because in 12 hours, it won't be March anymore. It'll actually be April. And the way the Patreon works is you must pledge for the month before the month ends. And then that first week of the next month, you get charged for the month before. So if you want to be a part of my March Patreon, you need to pledge pretty much immediately. I don't even know how else to say it. You have to do it really fast. Do not let this slide by. Do not be, wait till 12:05 after midnight, go to do it, and then find out, well, you can't get in on March. You have to wait till April. So you might be saying to yourself, well, that's great, Phil. You've been talking about this like crazy for the past week. How's that going? Because you have a set amount of goals that you've had set for Patreon. And, we're interested to see if you're going to hit those goals. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the answer to that is I don't know, because ultimately you can't be sure with Patreon. what ends up happening is, yes, people pledge, but they have the ability to withdraw those pledges up to the very last minute. And even then, there are some people who pledge who unfortunately get their cards declined, or maybe it's just a fake pledge. We had a few of those last month where 2 people pulled out at the last minute because they were fake pledgers. And in addition to that, there were like 4 people who had their information declined, and then never really went back. 2 people did reapply and got in there. So it's very hit or miss. It's very indecisive, let's put it that way. There's no way definitively to tell whether or not we're going to hit the goals until basically the week progresses and we see what happens. However, the good news, the overwhelmingly good news, is that last night we had a wave of pledges. I'm talking like some 10+ people all pledged, and some big amounts, which I didn't expect. And I've been saying this. I'm very appreciative of those of you who are pledging, and you know, of course, in particular, people who are pledging big amounts. I mean, that's crazy that people would do that, and I'm so thankful that people enjoy myself and my content so much that you would do that. But understand that the way that that Patreon is successful is to have a large amount of people giving a small amount every month. That's the most successful Patreons. That's what I want it to be. Let's say by the end of this year, come the end of 2015, to get a large amount of people who are giving $1 a month versus a few people giving a lot, and that's what's putting me over the edge for the goals. But I don't know what happened. I don't know if there was something in the water. I don't know if it was my return to PS Home. I don't know what it was last night, but a bunch of people jumped on and pledged, and it basically put us over our goal. So the good news is that if everything goes through as it is right now, if people don't pull out of their pledges, if things don't get declined, we will be hitting our goals for the month of March. Okay? So that's the good news, and that means I'm going to be getting better sound equipment, soundproofing for the walls, a better mic, a better mixer. I'm going to be starting a new series, the DSP Classic Series, where I go back and do the best of, starting with Heavy Rain. That's really cool, and I'm excited for that, guys. So that's awesome, and thank you again to anyone who did pledge. If you didn't pledge, you still have just under 12 hours to do so for the month of March. Now, however, what I want to say to you guys is, don't take that for granted, because it could go away. I mean, yeah, we got a bunch of people who pledged last night, but I don't know if they're legit. And unfortunately, there's no way with Patreon to know who's legit until things actually go through and get charged, which is going to happen this week. So we had this big push last night, a bunch of people who all pledged. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're out of the woods, you know what I mean? It could end up being very, very... What's the word I'm looking for? It could be a bunch of people trolling. Let's put it that way. People who want to say, oh, Phil's going to be all happy, we'll get him all happy, and then we'll pull out at the last minute and say, ha, we got him, we really stuck it to him. Listen, the bottom line is this, I'm happy that I got anything, all right? I am. I'm happy to get $1. It's awesome that you guys, again, like my content and like me so much that you would even contribute at all. So, for me, the fact that I got anything is good enough for me. But ultimately, when we do hit these goals, it's going to make everything better for everyone. Better equipment, more events, etc. So, regardless of if we hit the goals or not, I'm ecstatic. You know what I mean? But there are people who, unfortunately, out there are malicious and probably, they may be fooling or trolling or putting in fake things to get our hopes up. You know what I mean? And then they're going to pull out. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And, if that were an extenuating circumstance and that were to happen, and oh my God, we were short by $50 on a goal because of that. I mean, obviously, I would personally assess the situation and see if any way viable, if I could still do that goal regardless of if we were a few bucks short or whatever, because that would be a really messed up thing, that everyone's really contributing, excited, and looking forward to the goals, and then because of some unfortunate douche, pulling out on purpose to troll, that we don't reach it. I mean, that'd be ridiculous. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, everyone. But thank you very much for that. I mean, obviously, today's marathon is happening as a direct result of Patreon. So thank you so much to those who contributed in February. Thanks to those who pledged in March. Thanks to you who are on the stream watching. Thanks to you who are on YouTube watching. You guys are awesome. You keep this going. And I'm very excited. I hope you guys have liked all these changes this year between the better editing software that I got that's allowing me to do fun montages, that's allowing me to put video footage and editing into my reviews and vlog style videos, between going and checking out Minecraft for a month long, between this indie marathon, all these changes that have been a positive change as a result of Patrian and a result of my positive attitude this year. You know, I hope that you're enjoying it. And I hope that, you know, this is a good direction, right? I'll be honest with you guys, I've got a ton this year, a ton of new subs on both channels. My vlogging channel is up, way up, with attention, which is awesome. You know, we just got to get through this transitionary period, because ultimately you're going to have people who were like, oh, well, Phil used to be the guy who plays 8 hours of games a day, uploads 45 videos a day, he beats every new game within 2 days, and he doesn't do that anymore, so I don't like him. Well, you know what? Things change, and in my opinion, things change for the better. You know, I think I was getting too burnt out playing through 5 zillion effing games in a week and rushing through them, right? And now I take my time with a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, and I have fun doing it, and I don't feel pressured to rush through something. This month in particular, April, I get to take my time with Bloodborne, right? Then I get to experience Final Fantasy Type 0. When Mortal Kombat 10 comes out, I'm going to be spending a ton of time with that game, exploring the story mode, the challenge modes, the characters, online play. It's going to be a ton of fun, and I hope you guys are going to be there for that experience. I'm very hyped for Mortal Kombat 10. But, you know, it's all part of the experience of me not basically being this insane workhorse anymore. It's more about quality over quantity, right? So, thanks very much for the positivity. Oh my God, the positive stuff on Twitter. You know, the messages I get now, the interactivity I'm getting with all of you, I love it. I think I'm feeling a lot better this year than I did last year. I'll be honest, last year I was really nervous because the moving across the country from Connecticut to Washington was uncertain. I didn't know if that was going to go through. It put me in a lot of debt financially. I was nervous about that. The fact that, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but once I moved, there was a dip in performance, in attention on my content. And I don't know, if it was because I was of that old mentality of just being the workhorse versus actually trying to put some creativity and do some different stuff with my content. I don't know what it was. But for whatever reason, you know, and all that happening together, I was very nervous that, am I going to, did I put myself in a situation where people don't like me anymore for some reason? And, you know, my content isn't going to get any attention, and now I'm stuck in financial ruin, and what's going to happen? But I'll tell you, this year, the past couple months in particular have been really great. I mean, I'll be honest, not views-wise, but positivity-wise. And ultimately, when you're positive and when things are going positively and you're having fun, things are going to be successful. Like I said, it may not immediately have surged, but I get the feeling that if I continue on this path that I'm going, with patron support, with ongoing support daily, I think that this is going to work out very well. And I'm looking forward to the future. And this mini marathon today is one of the first steps to giving you more variety of content, more fun content, rather than me just playing the big games every day, and that's all DSP does. So thanks for being here on stream, guys. Thanks for watching this on YouTube. We're going to get started shortly here with the very first game. And I will ask for your patience, because like I said, when I am setting up these games, it's going to take a couple of minutes of adjustment to get them working with the capture software, the streaming software. But once it's going, you know, we're going to get going. And we'll be playing for, you know, however long you guys like it. If I'm playing a game and you guys are really enjoying it, I'll keep going. If you're like, all right, well, this is good, but let's go on to something else, then we'll move on to something else. So I hope you guys will definitely let me know in the stream chat what's going on. Let me know about volume levels. Let me know if anything's going wrong. In particular, if everything starts stuttering, all right? And this is something I have to say right before I start. This is very important, okay? If things start stuttering while I'm streaming here, and you're noticing that, let me know, because that basically means that probably my processor is being maxed. Now, this is happening during Minecraft, but from what I'm to understand, it's because Minecraft is a very poorly optimized game running in Java, and it does eat up your system's resources. All the games today that we're going to be playing apparently don't do that, from what I'm to understand. They may, you know, they should be running pretty decently on my PC, even though I am capturing and streaming. These aren't resource hog games. A lot of these are, let's be honest, they're pixelated games, throwbacks to, say, 8-bit and 16-bit stuff anyway. So hopefully we're not going to have that issue, all right? Alright, so thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Without further ado, I'm going to end the pre-stream, and then I'm going to pick a game to start. I'm going to set it up here. We're going to start, and thanks a lot. Now, one final thing. I was thinking about doing Facecam today for the stream, but there's 2 reasons why I'm not doing Facecam, okay? Number 1, I'm having a bad hair day. I took a shower last night right before I went to sleep. My hair was still wet, and when I woke up this morning, my hair looks like Medusa. So that's number 1. And number 2, the Facecam is just going to be something else that's going to take away resources from my PC, and I'm afraid that it's going to cause stuttering. So for this first marathon-style stream that I'm doing, rather than chance the stream have issues and stuttering and stuff, I said let's leave the Facecam out of it. But, you know, if there's ever demand for it, yes, I can do Facecam now on my PC. It's just that I didn't want to screw with the stream this time and chance having the whole thing lock up or stutter because of it, but it's not out of the question in the future. Okay. Alright, everyone. Thank you. Let's get started with the Indie Mini Marathon. Again, thanks to the patrons and thanks to the viewers.